Automobilewoche, Germany's most prestigious automotive industry publication, says that this situation that's been created in Germany is fatal for manufacturers and dealers. Direct quote from Christoph Buchel from Automobilewoche in Germany. Automobilewoche says that the federal election is causing a crisis in Germany. It basically has meant that 50% or more of people in Germany are holding off from buying an electric car for this reason, and it's causing problems. Basically, manufacturers are saying, why are we not selling more electric cars? Really, the government is partly at fault for this. Politicians are causing what is really becoming a very, very desperate situation for car manufacturers in Germany. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching The Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. If you'd like to become a YouTube member, that'd be fantastic. I'll put a link in the description below. The federal election. 1 in 2 people in Germany are postponing an electric car purchase. 50% of people in Germany are postponing buying an EV because, well, here's the reason. The discussion about government funding for the switch to EVs is causing many potential buyers to hesitate. Every second consumer who wants to buy an electric car is postponing that purchase primarily for that reason. They hope that the government will provide subsidies again in the future. There are no subsidies for EVs. But I should point out, guys, that subsidies for fossil fuels in Germany have risen drastically over the past 10 years. In fact, 7 countries together, including Germany, Canada, and the United States, actually spend $1.4 trillion on fossil fuel subsidies in 2024 and $1.36 trillion on fossil fuel subsidies in 2023. So, yeah, there are 0 subsidies for EVs and hundreds of billions for fossil fuels. Now, only a minority, 41% of those interested in EVs are not influenced by possible funding programs when making their purchase decisions. So it would appear that around 59% of people are being influenced by government policy. They think that surely something has to change and surely something will. So there's a lot of uncertainty right now in Germany. This is the result of a survey conducted by Automobilewoche together with Civi. Between January 21 and February the 5th, 2025, so over the course of 2 weeks, around 1,500 consumers who want to buy an EV in the next 24 months actually took part. The results show how strongly funding programs influence consumer behavior and what potential actually lies dormant in the market, says Civi car expert Christian Riedel. At the same time, it becomes clear that e-mobility is not attractive enough for many consumers without financial support. Basically, a lot of consumers feel like if they were to buy an EV today, then, well, one, Germany's EVs, to be honest, the value for money is not that great. It's not. EVs are much cheaper in China. They're even actually significantly cheaper in the United States than they are, and much cheaper in Australia than they are in Germany. And many people are reticent in their statements. They're saying this: in the election campaign before the upcoming federal election at the end of February, many parties are promoting they're promoting electric cars. They're saying, if you vote for us, we'll bring back subsidies for EVs. But they're not specific on what those subsidies are going to be, and no one knows what's going to happen in the election. It's just dragging on for a long time now. It's been dragging on since basically since January of last year, after EV subsidies were basically drastically, completely removed from Germany. The CSU, apparently, according to Automobilewoche, was talking about a purchase bonus of €3,600 when purchasing an EV, so a subsidy of €3,600. Now, various different political leaders in Germany, which has more than 2 political parties that can win, have been talking about EV subsidies, what they do. So, here's the big problem that manufacturers in Germany are facing. That's BMW, Audi, Mercedes, Toyota. Basically, anyone selling cars, in fact, in Germany is going to face huge CO2 fleet emissions fines. If your CO2 emissions go beyond a certain level, then you'll have to pay these fines, and everyone will go beyond that level. Everyone except for EV companies like Volvo and Polestar and Tesla, BYD. I mean, obviously BYD's not making cars in Germany, so they're kind of irrelevant. But all of them will have to pay. They'll have to pay to group their emissions together with Tesla or Polestar, other EV brands. because otherwise they'll go above those emissions targets. So this is actually hurting their own automotive industry by not having their subsidies, not promoting EVs. I mean, to be honest, like I said, fossil fuel subsidies are in huge numbers, absolutely astronomical. Just because you don't hear about them doesn't mean they're not happening. And it means that their own companies are suffering. Even the Volkswagen Group made this comment themselves as well, affirming that this is correct. According to the Federal Motor Transport Authority, new EV registrations in Germany rose by more than 50% to almost 35,000 electric cars in January, corresponding to a market share of 16.6%. But that's lower than the market share of what they had a year ago when EV subsidies were in place. Or in fact, I should say 13 months ago, in December of 2023. That's when EV subsidies ended in Germany. And after that point in time, Germany, in fact, sold less electric cars in 2024 than what they did in 2023. In fact, they were one of a very, very tiny number of countries worldwide that sold less EVs last year. Considering electric car sales increased by 25% worldwide last year, you can see how this is a big problem for Germany. Basically, Germany's automotive industry is crumbling. And it's crumbling because, well, partly because people aren't buying German-made EVs, particularly even in Germany. So because Germany abolished EV subsidies, even for its own brands, for Porsche, for BMW, for Volkswagen, it's hurting its own industry. And basically, they're having to shut down production lines that build EVs and internal combustion engine cars in Germany. It's basically a shit show. I don't think they've thought this through. It's really, it's causing a lot of confusion. Buyers are like, well, what the hell's going on? What are we going to do now? There's a lot of confusion. And that's leading to people having analysis paralysis, saying to themselves, should I buy an EV? Well, 58% are confused. They don't know what to do. Should I buy it now? Should I wait a year? I don't know what to do. Now, my suggestion is to hell with that, buy an EV today. But I can understand why people are reluctant to do so. Germany's most well-respected automotive industry publication or media source Automobilewoche has reported that, well, German car manufacturers, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, Volkswagen, they're aware that they are getting their butts handed to them. They're getting absolutely spanked by China. They're aware that China's car market is, in fact, guys, I've been underreporting the size of it. It was just over 31 million cars sold in 2024. But the entire global car market was only around 80 million. So that's actually closer to, well, not far off being 40% of the entire global car market. As you can see, that is extremely important to these manufacturers. Now, I actually have a chart here showing you just how important that is. The revenue, right? These revenue numbers have dropped drastically for these German manufacturers, but this shows you just how important the Chinese car market is. Look at these numbers. BYD, number one, with $58.1 billion US dollars in revenue from China in 2024. Second place in all of China was Mercedes-Benz, $42.5 billion. Volkswagen, $42 billion. BMW, $32.7 billion. Tesla, $22.3 billion. So you can see here, these figures are insanely large.